Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, and everybody else, this is Jan Paval with the Access Arts Live Organ live stream action roundup for the week of January 12th to January 19th. We have count them, five live stream of organ recitals and concerts to tell you about. I can't wait to get to them. Before I go any further, let me remind you, if you're watching this on Facebook, please like the video. If you're watching on any of our 7 platforms, do yourself a favor and get more than 1,000 live links to live performances online this year by following or subscribing to Access Arts Live on Facebook, YouTube, X, TikTok, Instagram, Threads, or LinkedIn. And we will make sure that you get all of those live links to live streams free of charge on our part. So this week we have a magnificent organ sound art concert, which is ongoing, a 192-hour live stream. I'll tell you about it in just a moment. In addition to that, you will have your choice of very experienced veteran organist and young up-and-coming talents playing in churches from Toronto to London to Moscow to Paris. And it's my job to tell you all about them. So that's what I'm about to do. Let me tell you about the first of them. It's ongoing. It has been ongoing since last Wednesday. I'm talking about John Cage's Organ 2 ASLSP, which is being performed in an 8-day, 192-hour live performance being live streamed from the Organ Hall at Arizona State University. There are 4 organists, scholars, and sound artists who are participating in this. Each of them is taking a shift of 6 hours per day. It's Kimberly Marshall, Diane Lucchese, Alexander F. Messler, and Christopher S. Anderson. And we did a live stream interview with them last Wednesday as they were launching on January 7th. Yesterday, I did an interview at the shift change between Kimberly Marshall and Christopher Anderson. So Kimberly was just coming out of 6 hours of her part, and Christopher is just about to go in. Fascinating discussions of how the sound changes when you play a note for long periods of time. But if you really want to know about it, I commend you to look up both of those live interviews, which we did. That you can find them still on our Facebook and YouTube pages, and I think on all our other platforms, as a matter of fact, because we always put up our live streams everywhere we can. So check that out. And later today at 5:30 p.m. Mountain Standard Time, which is 7:30 on the East Coast in the U.S., 1:30 in the morning here in Europe, I'll be doing a live stream interview with the other 2 organists, Diane Lucchese and Alexander Messler, talking about how they're feeling after having done something like 36 hours of performance already in this magnificent piece of modern music. So, having said that and having introduced that to you, let me then move on to the more conventional organ recitals that we have going on this week. Today, Tuesday, January 13th, St. James Episcopal Cathedral in Toronto, Canada, live streams its musical director and chief organist and choral composer, Thomas Bell. That'll be at 1 o'clock in the afternoon Eastern Time, 10 o'clock in the morning on the West Coast, and 7 o'clock here in Europe. In other words, it'll be in just about 55 minutes from now, if you want to check that out. Thomas Bell has lived in Toronto for nearly 30 years. He started out in England, though, teaching at Oxford and in London and directing early music choral ensembles. And then he moved to Toronto and has been music director at several Anglican churches over the years. His choral compositions are published by Oxford University Press, Boosey and Hawkes, and others. And he's married to the Right Reverend Susan Bell, who is the bishop of the Anglican Diocese of Niagara. How about that? We don't know what he's going to be playing. They never tell us at St. James Cathedral what they're going to be playing. But he is a man of great talent and experience, so you can expect a quality live stream from a veteran expert music director and organist. If, on the other hand, you want something entirely different, a young up-and-coming organist, well, you'll get that on Wednesday. Wednesday, January 14th, the Temple Church of London live streams Nicolas Kilhoffer, a graduate of the Strasbourg Conservatory in France, with the highest honors. I need to just double check something here, make sure that we do have Instagram here, a live stream. There's a picture of Nicolas. You can see he's a very young guy. He has, after graduating from the Strasbourg Conservatory, he has performed at places like Notre Dame Cathedral. He's taken master classes in Paris from people like Thierry Escache, the French organist composer who's in residence at Notre Dame, and with Thomas Hospital at Saint Eustache Church in Paris. So I wouldn't be surprised to see him showing up at one of the Sunday late afternoon live stream organ recitals going on at Saint Eustache every Sunday. In fact, there's one I'll tell you about in a moment. And right now he's studying with Johann Wechsel, who's the choir organist at Notre Dame in Paris. We don't know what he's going to be playing either. Some of these churches, they just don't tell us, folks. But I can tell you everything that this next organ recital will have on the menu. And it's one of my favorites. It's an organ recital duo. That's Anna Vetlugina there on the left. She is one of the two resident organists at the Roman Catholic Cathedral in Moscow. And next to her is Dmitry Maksimenko. Dmitry is the resident organist at the Anglican Church of St. Andrew in Moscow. If this is the first time you're seeing me talk about them, I've talked about them at least a dozen times in the last year and a half or so since Access Arts Live has existed, because they regularly do lively and enjoyable and musicologically interesting concerts at the Roman Catholic Cathedral. That's Wednesday, January 14th at 6 in the evening, European time, noon on the East Coast, 9 in the morning on the West Coast. And they're playing popular classics or parts of popular classics. It's still Christmas time in Moscow. They won't be done. Their Epiphany comes later. There's an Epiphany concert at the same church this Saturday, but I put it in with chamber music because it's not just organ singers and all. Anyway, they'll be doing Mussorgsky's Dawn on the Moscow River, which was the introduction to his opera Kovanchina, Vivaldi's Spring from the Seasons, Mozart, a little night music, Eine kleine Nachtmusik, Part 1, Symphony number 40, Part 1, the first movement of Beethoven's Fifth Symphony, all of this transcribed for 2 or 4 hands. Some of the time they'll be on 2 different organs, and some of the time they'll be doing 4 hands on 1 organ. Saint-Saëns, the Danse Macabre, Brahms' Hungarian Dance number 1, Borodin's Fly Away on the Wings of the Wind, Tchaikovsky's Sugar Plum Fairy and Waltz of the Flowers, Grieg's in the Hall of the Mountain King, Brahms' Hungarian Dance, and they'll finish up with the lovely Felix Mendelssohn's Wedding March from the music that Mendelssohn composed for Shakespeare's play A Midsummer Night's Dream. So popular favorites. Another way of saying for a good time, call Anna Vetlugina and Dmitry Maksimenko. They give lovely concerts. So you can tell I'm a fan. Eh? I don't always say such nice things. And then we come down to the last of this week's concerts that I'm here to tell you about. It's another young'un. Well, not that young, but yeah. This Sunday, Saint Eustache Church in the heart of Paris host and live streams guest organist Maximilien Wang. He's a resident organist at Saint Ferdinand in Bordeaux. And he's not an unfamiliar recitalist at Notre Dame Cathedral in Paris and at the Royal Chapel in Versailles. He'll be playing Dupré, Pansamaille, Buxtehude, and Messiaen. That's Sunday at 5 o'clock, their usual time, 5 in the afternoon. 11 o'clock in the morning on the East Coast, 8 o'clock in the morning on the West Coast, late night, 2 o'clock down under in places like Melbourne and Sydney, but not so late in Perth on the West Coast of Australia. And that'll be Marcel Dupré's Le Monde dans l'attente du Sauveur. It's an extract from his Passion Symphony, Opus 23, The World in Waiting for the Savior. Pierre Pansamaille's Prologue and Noël. Buxtehude's In Dulci Jubilo, books WV197, and he'll finish up with Dieu parmi nous, God among us, from the birth of the Lord, the Nativity of the Lord, by Olivier Messiaen. Wang is currently studying improvisation with Thierry Esquèche and interpretation with Thomas Hospital at the CNSMDP of Paris, the Conservatoire, etc., etc., etc. And he's given lots of recitals around the Bordeaux area in addition to that. But it is not unusual to have one of Thomas Hospital's students playing in these Sunday concerts. That happens on a regular basis. Folks, I hope that some, or any of these live streams proves inspiring, uplifting to you, or just a heck of a good time. And before I leave you, let me remind you, if you're watching this on Facebook, please like the video. If you're watching on any of our platforms, please follow and or subscribe to Access Arts Live, completely free of charge, on Facebook, YouTube, X, TikTok, Instagram, Threads, or LinkedIn. And we'll make sure you get more than 1,000 live links to live performances online, including a weekly and sometimes daily links provided to you for organ recitals like this in the coming year. I'll be back at, in about a little over an hour to do the chamber music workup or roundup of live streams for this week as well. And so I will just say